Hey, what is up guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. I've got some very interesting UFO footage to show you guys today, but first, I want to talk a little bit about the massive power outages across the country just a couple of days ago in, coincidentally enough, the largest cities in the United States. And some of you likely felt the effects of this and experienced it. But if you haven't been following the news, and it's been all over the news, in a nutshell, there were 3 major power outages that occurred across the United States over the course of about 24 hours. Starting on the morning of April 21st, 2 of the major power outages occurred in New York and San Francisco. On the 20th, the day before, there was another outage, this time in Los Angeles, California. So we have Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco, along with some smaller outages in cities like Dallas, Houston, Minneapolis, Chicago, Detroit, Alabama, Boston, and Washington. Oh, and also Seattle. So all of these basically major cities, the big cities that we all know about, they're highly populated, and so that was really strange when that happened. And there's been a bunch of fuss over the past couple of days with conspiracy theories hitting the web as to what caused it. What caused such a major power outage like this happening across the United States? Some people said it had to do with Trump, that Trump did it in order to take focus off of some of the scandals and some of the things that he's been targeted for lately in the news. Others have said that it was the Russians who had hacked in to our power grid under a furious cyber attack and giving us a taste of what could come in the future. That information allegedly coming from an unnamed source from the Department of Homeland Security. And so it was later found out, after some investigations by various news sources who contacted the DHS, as well as spokespersons for Pacific Gas and Electric and the other power companies, who said that no, these power outages were not simultaneous and they didn't have anything to do with one another, or at least the Los Angeles outage didn't have to do with the other 2, but that this all boiled down to mechanical failure and that there was no cyber attack. But one of the other theories that I've seldom seen any news stories about, except for one specific report that was just released on ZeroHedge.com, puts forth the theory that yesterday's broad power outage, or 2 days ago, was, quote, likely caused by a geomagnetic storm. And so this is kind of where things start to get scary. But basically, the article goes on to describe what seemed to be almost a simultaneous power grid failure, hitting San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, areas that were hit the hardest and experienced some major challenges and shutdowns in business commerce, and the breakdown of basic infrastructure and communication networks and mass transportation, supply chains, and things like that. And then they give their opinion in the article that this was less related to Russian hacking and more related to a space weather event, which is basically, if you don't know, when the sun and the solar wind can influence the functioning and reliability of our electrical grid and in turn endangering the planet. So basically, when the sun releases one of these massive coronal ejections and these supercharged particles hit the Earth, it can and has in the past knocked out satellites, GPS, radio equipment, telephones, and yes, even the power grid if the blow is bad enough. And thankfully, we've never really taken a really big hit that's really caused any permanent damage. And so the article goes on to refer to one specific instance back in 1859 where a solar event occurred and it caused telegraph wires to spontaneously combust, knocking out the telegraph systems all over Europe and North America, which completely failed, giving telegraph operators electric shocks. And it's known to be one of the most powerful geomagnetic solar storms in history. And so, I'm sure you can all imagine what would happen in today's world if we were to have another Carrington event, and the pandemonium that it would cause if we were to get hit by a big enough solar storm. And so it's gotten me thinking, could this have been from a solar storm and we're just not being told? And is there more in store? Now, I've been checking the solar weather for the past couple of days, and there were some powerful eruptions from our sun. But on the other hand, the fact that these power grids that went down, again, coincidentally occurred in all of these major cities and hubs, if you will, of the United States, kind of makes me think, well, maybe there is something more secretive to this, and maybe it was the Russians, maybe it was our own government. You know, something just doesn't seem right about it. So I just wanted to post you guys this. I'll send you over to the Zero Hedge article. And yeah, I just want to see what you guys think, because I know there's a lot of people on here who are much smarter than me in the topic of space weather and things like that. So maybe you guys can give me your take and maybe what you think is going on. But I think there's something strange to this this power failure, and something's going on. I can't quite put my finger on it. I don't know if it's our own government testing some sort of secretive weapon, or maybe knocking out the power in order to test how the public would react. You know, could this be in preparation for a false flag event in the future? I just don't know. There's just so many theories. So, again, very interesting. Let me know what you guys think. And now I want to show you two very interesting new UFO sightings that were emailed to me by viewers of the channel. The first one was captured out of the window of an airliner when a viewer of mine by the name of Scott was flying from Houston to Atlanta a few days ago, and he captured a very strange dark object in the distance outside of the plane that at one point went from this sort of flat disc-like shape to what can only be described as almost a U-type shape, almost like it started bending upwards into this U-type shape before flattening out again. It's really strange. The camera is a bit shaky, but stay tuned and we'll analyze it and zoom in just a minute, so check this out.
Southwest about 6 miles.
Alright, so seen on a commercial flight from Houston to Atlanta. He's got the phone panning out the window, trying to get the best shot he can. And we see this elongated, what he said almost looked like a strange puff of smoke or something like that, slowly moving in the distance in the opposite direction. And at first I thought, well, maybe this could be another passing plane or something like that. But then he told me to direct my attention at about the 33-second mark, where we see this object suddenly arc upwards into this U shape. And you're seeing that here, and I'm zooming in, and I'll give you the best shot, and we'll slow it down, and I'll show you some still images here. But yeah, this thing definitely goes from a flat, straight line to a perfect U shape curving upwards at both ends, which totally threw me off. And that's when I had to say, alright, maybe this isn't something natural. Maybe it isn't a plane as I originally thought. Here you're seeing some still images zoomed in, and yeah, the thing curves up into a U. He moves the camera away for a minute while he's talking to another passenger, pans the camera back when we can just see this thing about to move out of view of the frame, and it's flattened back out again. And it's just, it's really, really, really strange. So what could this thing be? And have any of you seen something similar while flying around? If you have, be sure to send me in your footage and let me know what you guys think. So big thanks to Scott for emailing this over, and I'll put the original link to it down in the video description. So lastly today, I want to show you another strange sighting that occurred over Duluth, Georgia. A viewer said that he had walked out of his house and saw this strange light emanating from up in the clouds. It wasn't below them, it was up in the clouds, just slowly circling. And he said he had no idea what it was. It was very weird, and he said it lasted for about 15 minutes before the thing vanished. He said there was no sound, no flashing lights, no nothing, and it was also strange that it was just up in the clouds. So go ahead and check this out.
That's weird.
Alright, so, yeah, this thing is strange because it's up in the clouds, and it's moving very slowly, very steadily, and in a perfect circle. You know, it doesn't fly away and go in any up and down direction like you would think of a drone. Those things are all over the place. This thing is just very steady, and it's very bright in the sky. It's causing a very big bright spot. So, anybody over Duluth, Georgia, see this, let me know what you think. There's got to be more people out there who've seen this. But, yeah, definitely not the first time we've seen strange lights in the sky. May be natural, may not be. And at this point, I just don't think we have enough proper video to decipher that. So I will leave it up to you guys. Big thanks to Mr. Chapman for sending this over. And as we end out today's video, I wanted to show you guys some more viewer submissions that were sent over to me by the supporters of our official Secure Team Patreon page. And I've gotten back some really cool photographs of all of these different spots where people are sticking their Secure Team stickers and showing pride for the team and for the channel. And so I just want to give a special thanks to everyone for sending those in. Thank you to everyone who's gone over and continued to go over and support this channel on Patreon. It really means a lot, and we're going to keep up the good fight. So if you want your own sticker, be sure to head over to Patreon, and in the meantime, stay subscribed to the channel, send me in your UFO footage or strange story you'd like me to talk about, and I will make it known here on the channel. So thank you guys for stopping by. Here's hoping we don't get any more major power outages, and I will see you all back here in just a bit. Stay safe, guys.